What's going on? It's Trending Story. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more well informed, make sure to subscribe and active the notifications bell so you don't miss anything.
Siberian expanses have always been attractive for various kinds of free people who want to live far from the main civilization and society. And Siberia itself was discovered by free Cossacks who went to endless distances in search of freedom and independence. The old believers found their refuge in the taiga wilderness of the Siberian taiga. There have been hermits at all times. In any society, there have always been people for whom freedom, independence, and free life are not just words, but something completely different. Freedom and will for such people is what gives them strength, what makes them act, overcome obstacles and adversities, fight and not give up. However, in recent years, with the development of civilization, many people do not keep up with the rhythm of life and consciously abandon the society of their own kind, becoming hermits. So Vasily was one of those people. But he became a hermit not of his own free will, not for religious reasons, as it was written to him and his family that he would live in the forest and hide from people. And for what year he has been given in a romantic taiga, far from people and civilization, in a small taiga hut, which he cut down himself with his own hands. At some 7 years ago, he lived the most ordinary city life like many others. He worked, made plans for the future, but as happens in life, man proposes and God disposes. The second day the blizzard does not subside. Only the noise of the taiga and the wind is heard. Snow poured almost under the very roof of the hut. Vasily threw firewood into the stove and lay down on a lounger. In such weather, he became especially sad and lonely. Vasily was not yet 30. It would seem that he had lived through nothing and had nothing to forget. All life that he lived at a glance. But everything is somehow strange. He remembers one thing clearly, down to the smallest detail, and the other, everything is as if in a fog, as if it was not his life, but a completely different person. And now, he clearly remembered his childhood years, his carefree life with his grandfather Kondrat in their hut in a remote village. He remembered how he ran through the dark forest bursting into tears. How I met my bear friend. How many years have passed, but it's as if it was all just yesterday. And how long did they wander in the taiga with Fuzzy then? Vasily still does not know, maybe a month or maybe longer. But those days that he spent with his friend wandering through the taiga thickets now seemed to Vasily the happiest in his life, the most unforgettable. To live so much time in the taiga without food, without clothes, even for an adult and accustomed to taiga life, is very difficult and sometimes is impossible. But the little 11-year-old Vasyatka not only survived, he never even got sick, although he had to sleep on bare ground and eat only what they could find in the forest. All day long, he and the bear wandered through the taiga, eating everything they could find at this time of year. Berries, mushrooms, various larvae, roots that the bear dug with its powerful paws. Vasyatka had to eat raw fish and meat when they managed to catch something. But Vasyatka did not suffer so much from hunger. Through the efforts of the taiga fed them with its gifts. But what really caused Vasyatka to suffer was the taiga vial. Mosquitoes, midges flew in clouds around the boy, climbed into his eyes, bit in all the places where they could only get, and there was no escape from them anywhere. His entire body and face were swollen from the bites, burning with fire and covered with bleeding wounds, and there was no way to hide from them. It is very difficult for all taiga animals to escape from these annoying insects at this time, but then one day Fuzzy Bear stirred up a huge ant hill. A pungent ant smell hit Vasyatka's nose. But most surprisingly, all the vile that haunted them all this time and accompanied them everywhere suddenly disappeared immediately. It turns out that mosquitoes, midges, and even ticks do not tolerate the smell of ants. From time immemorial, taiga people knew about this and escaped from the midges in the taiga in this way. They threw their outerwear into large anthills for a while, and the clothes were soaked in formic acid, and the vial was no longer so annoying to the taiga. But Vasyatka did not know this. He simply took off his clothes and tossed them over the destroyed anthill. Mushkara, as before, continued to fly around in clouds, but did not approach Vasyatka anymore. But that was a very sensitive relief for him. Days went by. Vasyatka and the bear went further into the taiga jungle. One day was like another. Autumn crept imperceptibly. Warm summer days gave way to autumn frosts. It grew colder and colder every day. Vasya was now suffering greatly from the cold. He was wearing only one shirt and short pants. He didn't even have shoes. He was completely barefoot. And what he ran away from his aunt then, in that it went up to now. His clothes had been long frayed, turned into rags, and did not protect him from the autumn wind at all. Only at nights, when he cuddled up to his shaggy friend, could he still somehow warm up. But on rainy autumn days, the cold penetrated him to the very bones. He was freezing and could not get warm in any way. From that moment on, Vasily hardly remembered what was happening to him then in the taiga. Everything was like a fog. He only remembered that every day it was getting colder and colder. Winter was approaching. Either the bear then realized that this friend was very hard and urgently needed the help of people, or it was just an accident. But at the very time when Vasyatka was especially bad, they stumbled upon the camp of geologists, and there he was picked up a little alive. Although it was hardly an accident, now Vasily knows for sure that this fuzzy bear deliberately brought him to people then. There was a big city, a hospital, life in an orphanage, service in the Soviet army. But that was already a different life, a different story, which Vasily, for some reason, didn't want to remember at all. It was a different life, long forgotten and alien. What happened to his friend Fuzzy Friend Bear? He still doesn't know. They found him alone. No one saw any bear next to him. I would like to believe that he is still alive, that everything is wandering along the taiga paths. Or maybe he has been gone for a long time. The taiga life is very harsh, even for a wild bear. And the story about Vasily did not end there. It is unclear whether the bear involved in the latest incident was a male or a female that may have been protecting her cubs. Bears like to bed down in the trees during the daytime hours. When they are less active, I'm pretty sure that the bear had been sleeping because we hadn't seen it coming up, Mr. Vasily said. The two men were taken to hospital, and Vasily, the head of the autonomous province of Taiga, praised their quick reflexes. The father, named locally as Vasily, told Ladij newspaper that the bear had leapt out of the woods like lightning. He lunged at my son. At that point, I went after him to defend Christian. He bit my leg, then my arm, then my other hand. Then he left, miraculously. He could have killed us both. Vasily, a member of the right-wing nationalist Taiga Forest, argues the number of bears is becoming increasingly unsustainable, and he has signed an order to have the unidentified bear put down. The family thinks the bear could have been disturbed by the boy who was collecting pine cones from the nearby bushes. About a month ago, they watched a YouTube video on what to do should they run into a bear, Vasily explained, so he was prepared. Eventually, the brown bear loses interest and turns away, and Vasily could be heard asking his stepfather, "Did you take the picture?" The family decided to share the video on Facebook once they realized what an incredible experience they had captured on film, Vasily added. If you are interested and want to hear a sequel, write in the comments and the sequel will be surely released in the next issues. Put your finger up, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to press the bell. Thank you for watching, and see you again.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.